Hey everyone, welcome to Ink Scribes, the comics podcast where we discuss the art and craft of comics. I'm Colin Singh, I'm an aspiring comics artist, and I'm joined by my co-hosts Eric Zawadzki, the artist on the critically acclaimed Assorted Crisis events from Image Comics, and Taylor Stauft, creator of Luke Zenith and Scorpio Gold. Today, a very special episode, our final look at phase one of comics legend Mike Mignola's career.
Yeah, that's right. We're back for part two.
Yeah, so I guess we've separated. None of this stuff is official, but we've decided what the phases of Mike Mignola's career is, and I guess there's the phase one is like before Cosmic Odyssey when he was, I guess, trying to be a mainstream superhero artist.
That's right. Yeah, trying to pull from Frazetta, Wrightson, these kind of more representational guys that Cosmic Odyssey really unlocks something in him that makes him realize, I don't need to do that.
It's like when Neo starts to see the zeros and the ones.
Exactly.
As soon as he looked at Kirby's artwork, he's like,
oh, I get it now. It's about shape and form. Okay.
Yeah, so this stuff we're going to look at, the stuff we've been looking at over the last couple of episodes is not really Mignola in his prime, but there's still a lot of really good stuff here. A lot that I can personally learn from as an artist. Like he's a master of composition, and I think he's just so good. He's always been good at making scenes feel moody and atmospheric.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, and also he's just like a natural when it comes to like design, and like in this case, like comic page designs. So it'll be fun to look at this stuff, or continue to look at this stuff, and admire the atmosphere and the page design, and the great compositions. Even if like stylistically, it's not the Mike Mignola we fell in love with.
No, but I think it is. There's stuff that's there already, and sometimes you got to go through. You got to churn through stuff that doesn't work for you to know that it doesn't work. I think it is valuable to see, like at the end of last episode when we saw Racket Raccoon, like he's pretty talented at the more cartoony, rounder, softer looking style, and yet that's not something he goes back to. Like he does it and seems to realize, nah, that's not me.
Would you guys agree though? Like a big part of what why I love Mignola so much is that he's developed his style into, when you get into the Hellboy days especially, like every page, even a talking head scene, there's a lot of artists that just try to get through the talking head scene and they save the energy for like a fight scene or anything like that. But if you go through Hellboy, any single page, you would want that page on your wall, right?
Absolutely.
Every single page
Yep.
is just perfectly put together, and every single page is worth owning, right? Like, and I don't want to say he's one of few artists that can have a career like that or have a body of work where everything is worth, putting on your wall. But he's definitely in a large group of artists that you can say do something like that.
To that point, I actually do have a story about that that ties into that from his time on the Hellboy movie. He actually bribed Del Toro to remove a crib from the very first Hellboy movie.
Oh, I heard about this. Yeah.
By giving him 4 pages of the corpse. So Del Toro owns
the best Hellboy story ever, right?
Yeah.
Or what's seen as the best.
and especially according to Guillermo, Best Picture or Best Director winner, Guillermo del Toro says it's like every page is a masterpiece. So he owns pages 1, 5, 6, and 11, and they are proudly displayed in Guillermo del Toro's home, and all in exchange for not having a gigantic. It's described as like a cradle on stilts, rocking back and forth, that has Hellboy in it.
Those are probably the last 4 pages that he had left. He's like, just these are my last 4. Just take them.
Take them, whatever it takes.
That fucking crib, yeah.
Well, what's funny about that is that Mike Mignola never wanted to be a writer and never considered himself a writer.
Nope.
But he definitely has that writer brain, that writer mindset of just like knowing what is right and what is wrong and what fits and what doesn't.
Yeah.
And a lot of the things we love, like we love Mignola as a penciler, we love Mignola as a writer, and a lot of this stuff he had to be sort of pushed into. So it's really interesting.
That's true. Yeah, it's usually somebody else, whether it's an editor, another artist, his wife, saying, "Well, why not just do it? Like, why not just give it a try?" Which, like, personally, that's something I have to do a lot, right? Eric, you're the one that pushed me to write stuff. My wife has definitely pushed me into trying different artistic pursuits just to see what it's like. Like, there is a tendency for some of us to think like, no, this is what I am, and then discover, no, if you just kind of open that door, you'll find more of yourself.
Yeah, I mean, you if you're smart enough to know how difficult something is, it can be a barrier.
Definitely. But he does at least listen to the people in his life and does try things out when they suggest it.
So when last we left, in the last episode, he was on Rocket Raccoon. So we looked at Rocket Raccoon #1, and he was actually drawing Hulk covers when he got the Rocket Raccoon gig. Mm-hmm. So we're going to look at one of his Hulk comics. But yeah, I just wanted to briefly look at the Hulk covers that he was doing leading up to that, because he did 10 Hulk covers before he even started drawing Hulk. And we looked at these in the first Mignola episode we had, where we looked at the covers of Mike Mignola. But yeah, he did all these covers, and then it was with issue 311 that he jumped on. And this was a very appealing book for him, I think, because he knew exactly what he didn't want to draw. Like, yeah. he doesn't want to draw mundane scenes. He doesn't want to draw regular people doing regular things.
No,
he wants to draw monsters. And and so this was like the crossroads era of Hulk, where Hulk was I guess trapped in this sort of like purgatory in between dimensions, and he would hop into different dimensions every issue. I think there was some sort of thing that Doctor Strange did to the Hulk, where like he would, when he found a dimension that he was happy with, he would, I don't know. There's something there to do with, I'm not sure. I haven't actually read much of this stuff, but it was a very appealing book for him to be on. Until we get to issue 312, in which there was a flashback to young Bruce Banner during Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And then Mike Mignola suddenly has to draw mundane things with the second issue.
Yeah. Which, woof. But I think overall, though, it is a good fit for him, just because, like, the Hulk is a monster, especially this era. It gets very cosmic and ethereal, and there's other monsters, like up there, 313 is what we're going to be taking a look at after these. And
well, let's look at it now.
Yeah. All right.
Because so this was actually a fun comic, I find.
Yeah.
Which spoilers, the comic he draws after that, not as fun.
No, it's not. But you're
and it's
right.
Interesting because it's the same writer and artist.
Yeah.
But different subject matter.
So in terms of the Hulk covers, though, I can see that he's slowly starting to do away with actually focusing on defining each muscle and like the human anatomy, and moves more towards mass. And he starts to actually just use Hulk as mass on a page, and he kind of dictates everything, the environment around that mass.
Yeah.
Right. This cover specifically.
Yeah. That's a good call, because you're right. It's not so much shadow or anything. Like, there's some of it down here, and he's doing his kind of kicking up dust thing. But yeah, you're right. It's just it's more about the shape, the traps and the what do you call it? What are these muscles?
Cannonball. He's just a giant rock that he's Like
he's got a lot of
that's
weight to him.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, there's the density that he has, and yeah, so it's starting to occur to him, and I do feel too that like these weird little pot-bellied goons are something that will come back up too, especially in kind of more like fantasy monsters, like henchmen monsters. I'm thinking of like the pig creature that keeps harassing him throughout a couple of the Hellboy
Oh
series.
yeah.
Grishko or Grit, something like that. Uh, yeah, and he's just kind of like, okay, more of shape, more of more of form.
And as we get into this issue, though, that's the one thing that I noticed. I think this issue in particular, you'll start to see that he draws Hulk very defined in his anatomy and the muscles and everything. And then towards the end, he leads more towards light and shadow. And he's a lot more just mass. It's like just his pecs. You don't see any striations or anything. It's like literally just his pecs and then like a deep shadow into his abs and that sort of stuff. Like that's what you're going to see as
Right
we go
on.
through this issue. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Well, let's keep an eye out for that because I do want to point out Mike Mignola and Jerry
Yeah, I found
Tetak
that interesting.
Tellock, just art. It's not like embellisher is
Yeah.
Jerry. It's they're both working on it, so I'm not quite sure
So
where the breakdown is, but
yeah, that's interesting. So I guess the line between the two is murky.
yeah, it
So
sure does
yeah,
seem like it. So
I if I were to guess, I mean, Mike Mignola did all the storytelling, and I guess he was the starting point for the art, and a lot of the finishes, a lot of the finished line work, would be Jerry
yeah,
Taliok.
Tellock,
Talok?
Tellock, yeah. So yeah, because I could definitely see like all of this kind of detail in this haunted devil horn shooting tree is not really a Mignola thing. It's a Jerry Tellock thing.
Yeah,
But anyway, uh,
it's definitely got that Mignola starting page that like every one of these comics has just a jaw dropping first page.
yeah,
So that's been very consistent.
yeah, yeah. Communicate quickly. Like he's lost. There's the cosmos. There's haunted shit going on.
And there's layers of information. Like you even get the rocks like coming out of the panel, going into the gutter space, just
Yeah.
creating that three dimensionality.
I do think though. I think we are seeing kind of a like that doesn't feel Mignola at all. This kind of
Yeah.
shading a lot of this,
Mm.
especially in the early parts here. But this feels like no. I just put X's down. Like I'm not gonna. I don't want. I want the Hulk to be emerging from the shadows and be the shadows.
And it's just a great composition, right? And it's
Yeah,
that symmetrical composition that he's known for.
yeah, and it quickly is a setup for whatever is going on here too, right? Like it's not just the composition, but it's also like the clarity of the image of just let's go. I do like a lot of this falling stuff though, as he's falling through dimensions.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel particularly Mignola to me, but at the same time, I don't know that that's really kind of the purpose of it because he's not that cosmic of a guy.
I still think he's kind of channeling Wrightson for these first
Yeah,
almost the whole issue, but not all quite all of it. But like
yeah,
a lot of this stuff, this psychedelic stuff, this kind of going through dimensions and that sort of thing. That's still in the Wrightson realm.
absolutely. Yeah, it's a lot tighter of stuff than he does even later on in the book.
Well, and like we were talking about last episode, there's the clouds on top of clouds layering.
Yeah,
Well,
Right.
that's pretty consistent.
I do like this. This is not something that we see often. Is a figure breaking fully breaking a panel border, like from
Oh
falling.
yeah.
The implication of like falling from here to here is not something that he does often, but it's done to pretty good effect here.
Yeah, I mean the page calls for it because he's dimension hopping, right?
Yeah. Right.
Even
Yeah.
on the first panel, he's breaking panel border. So.
Yeah. And it is it's kind of an extension of that. If you start off with, well, it's just an arm, and then you can have like, well, now it's a body falling fully past a gutter in order to tie in that dimension hopping. Because space and time are the same thing here on a comics page.
Yeah, and the gutter space is the time in between panels, right? So
Exactly.
the gutter space is time.
Yeah.
Which there's a future Assorted Crisis Events issue, the one I'm drawing right now, which is all about that time in between panels.
Which
It's all about the gutter space.
we all are looking forward to, because remember to pick up Assorted Crisis Events. The trade paperback is out now.
Yep.
Hey, when are you getting that deluxe hardcover treatment on that?
There are
With the
people
first
asking for
novel?
it. I've seen it.
Oh,
One of them Rick Remender type hardcovers.
Well, I mean, those hardcovers generally come out when you've got a significant amount of issues in the
Like
can.
12 or
So
so,
yeah,
right?
that'll be in the discussion when we're many more issues.
5 big ones of those, where all the spines have an intricate.
10 years of my life you're talking about.
So audience, make sure that you buy this book so that they have the material to put into deluxe hardcovers.
Yeah, we can only continue doing it if people buy it.
Yep.
But,
Keep buying. Consistency.
But yeah, these pages must have been fun for him to draw. These pages are pretty great.
Yeah, and they're breaking a lot of his, like, I don't think of, well, actually no, this is kind of a throwback to a lot of the Namor stuff, because we've seen previously he's done kind of a lot of staid, pretty basic grid stuff, but he's really breaking free in this issue, at least, which I guess you could justify it by saying, well, it's dimension hopping, it should be kind of more mind bendy, but it's still it's a good way for him to kind of flex different storytelling methods.
Yeah, and I mean it's very atmospheric, like we're used to with him. So
yeah, I mean there's no buildings to draw, there's no cars, there's no horses.
Yeah,
a lot of the stuff he can just make up on the fly. Literally just play with directing your eye. This is pure direction of the eye, because that's all he's got to work with. Really.
Yeah.
Or at least that's the one objective, is to lead the eye. But he's not using real like buildings again, or cars or things like that. There's no props involved.
Right. So there's just like the environment he creates and the human form here, which once again we get to see just a perfect capture of like mid-fall.
Lots of falling and screaming.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a much more fun book than I was anticipating, just because like you can only do this in comics. This is the stupidest shit in the entire world. A giant green monster who's also a little nerd is falling through an endless void to arrive on some new storyline. And then like to have him like grab onto the ethereal void and then just crawl up it. What a great idea. I see what you mean though about like, so yeah, he's really defining musculature here. Like he's really carving
he's got
it out.
the chops, right?
He does, yeah. And yeah,
which is interesting because in all the interviews he talks about how this was not a good fit for him and he wasn't good at stuff, but like he's got the chops for superhero
I think so,
comics.
yeah. But I do think this is kind of more, I think this is more of what he's thinking in terms of, though, right? Like I know it's a small figure, but it's still just kind of like mass, shape, pose,
chunky shape.
Yeah.
Man, look at that fist. You can see the bones under the skeleton. Like he knows the figure. He knows all the muscles and he knows how to, like, I guess, show the muscles over top the bone, and yeah, he's got it all figured out. Which
and the way that like different fingers of different legs collapse, like that the pinky is drawn in so much tighter to it, like, and it's very well observed in terms of a human fist, which the Hulk does not have a human fist. He has a Hulk fist. Like it's bigger, it's wider, it looks very similar, and it'd be tempting to think of it as that's just a giant fist, right? But it's kind of not. It still has to conform to the features of the Hulk.
Well, and actually, and another point is that like he's advanced enough that he's doing interesting things. I I think that when you're starting out, you're just trying to get everything accurate,
Yeah.
and you're not going beyond that. Like when you draw a fist, you're just going to draw a fist like that.
Yeah.
But when you've mastered everything, you do things a lot more interesting and more well observed, and so you're going to have like a more interesting looking fist and a fist in perspective where like things aren't like perfectly aligned, rather than just like you know, a flat thing like that. If that makes sense,
Flat
I don't know if
real,
I'm making sense.
yeah,
100%.
well
No.
realized one, yeah. But he is starting to move away from a lot of shadow here. I like this this use of skinnier panels to just kind of set up the new weirdo dimension that he's in too.
Yeah, which you kind of have to after you know, we had several like half splash pages. So.
Yeah, because it's still because this still kind of comes down to it's still a lot of vortex voids and large bridges and ribbons of energy. There's more stuff going on, and then
These pages are fun.
Yeah.
It's-
robots.
every page he's in a new dimension, and there's new like fun, crazy, odd things for Mignola to draw.
Mm-hmm.
Like this comic seems like it was exactly in his wheelhouse, and he must have been happy. And then I guess the editors tell him, "Okay, that was your last issue."
Yeah, which, man, I mean, I'm glad his career took the trajectory that it did. Right, like,
yeah,
Hellboy, what a fucking great contribution to comics as a whole. But it would have been cool to see him do more galactic, cosmic, maybe even spiritual Hulk stuff.
yeah, definitely.
Why not just put Hellboy in those situations?
Well, I think you can see this is
Put
kind
Hellboy in a spaceship, you know?
Yeah, you could. I mean, he does bring up he does inject aliens into Hellboy, and we also get like he loves this sort of shit, right? This sort of, I guess, 12th century peasant stuff.
Yeah. Well, he's a big folktale guy, so
Yeah.
But yeah, again, all these pages are so fun.
Yeah.
Those last two pages were like one dimension per page, and now we're at the point where it's like one dimension per panel.
Look at this. Look at that tension. That twist there.
Yeah.
God.
I guess this Crossroads saga had been going on for like 14 issues or I guess 13 issues at this point, and so this is the culmination of it all, where the climax of it is, okay, well, we're gonna have him go through 100 different dimensions, because this is the end of that.
Okay.
Because after this, John Byrne comes on, and it takes a completely different angle.
Okay. And I mean, that'll come back, right?
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's interesting to see the things that, like, well, I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna keep that in my back pocket, because I do think we do all have ideas that, no, you know what? I just like the way that looks. I just like that idea. It's a small little detail, and I'm gonna put it in a bunch of stuff. I also like the ethereal use of this character, using the white space and then as the defining feature. That's great.
Yeah, that's the classic astral plane look of a character.
Yeah.
Going back to way back, like Jack Kirby was drawing that in like X-Men comics, I think, in way back in X-Men number 4 or something.
Oh, I was thinking when Doctor Strange meets Eternity. But
oh yeah, Steve Ditko was doing that, and you know, John Byrne was doing a lot of astral plane imagery like that as well. So long history of that in comics.
But let's see if we can find Is this sort of what you're talking about?
That's the one right there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just more like, yeah, you're right. It's more shape. There's way less feathering or hatching.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like how many times has he drawn Hellboy like that, right?
yeah. Oh, good
This becomes
call.
his staple in a
Yeah,
way.
it's so interesting to contrast that with the big splash page. Just like to go back and forth between those two, because like, yeah, the big splash page. I mean, I guess that's Hulk more tensed up.
This
Well,
one?
also there's not a lot of light or excuse me, a lot of shadow to just play with. Like he's in a bright vortex there,
That's
so it's like,
true.
well, I can't hide anything.
Yeah. He's got to carve
But
Yeah.
those
now is a
out.
somber or a dark scene. Yeah, I'm gonna throw some shadow down on it.
Yeah,
Right?
and it is a splash page versus like one panel and a
Yeah.
8 panel page or whatever. So you have more
Yeah.
time.
Oh, and he even does it here as well. This little guy there, as being just blocks
And then
shadow.
if you again skip ahead to like, well, actually, let's just keep going, but I'll point it out again later on. Right there, the right page, this panel 2.
This one.
Again, it's directly downlit um, light source.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's
where
more
it's just
matte
like, yeah,
over like there's no like he's not defining too much there besides like every muscle is defined, but there's no veins, there's no striations or anything like that. It's just like downcast, right?
I appreciate too when an artist depicts the Hulk not um as not dehydrated, like right? Like isn't that
Yeah.
the thing I've
Like a
heard?
Kirby Hulk.
Yeah.
Kirby Hulk was never dehydrated, but he was fucking massive.
Yeah, who's just got like mass, like there's no the definition that exists is only there because of strain and power, not because I've heard that like I remember hearing for shirtless scenes for actors in things like Captain America or Thor, that like when they do those, the guys prepare like a day and a half early by just, oh, I don't drink any water.
Yeah, dropping fluids.
Yeah.
Nothing enters the body for the next 30 hours.
Yeah. And then it's like right before cameras roll, they're on set.
And they're just like
Trainer has them like, here's a Coke,
completely
chug
fucking
it,
all their
and then
everything.
do like
Yeah.
a bunch of push-ups right before we hit
Yeah. Yeah.
we hit roll, we start
Interesting.
rolling. Yeah, just to like,
I'm guilty of doing that.
yeah.
Yeah. Before a date or something. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's just like blood enters your muscles quickly. You just look as big as possible with as tight a skin as possible, and you look
Yeah.
like, okay, yeah, that's what a super soldier look like. That's what a god looks like. But when you see the Hulk with like, yeah, with this kind of like, yeah, it's just like his ribs, his abs, his forearms are carved out of him. It does feel more, yeah, like it's power, not.
Well, when you're at rest as well, like you just as you are, when you are at rest, your muscles are all relaxed too. And that's
Right.
why a lot of your veins kind of go back in and that sort of thing. Like even your skin will get a little bit looser, especially around like your extremities or under your arms and stuff like that. That's why you get that soft look. But as soon as you start pumping some iron, you start doing some bicep curls, something all of a sudden, bing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So him just kind of like crouching there like that in panel 2, like again, like it's just he's in a relaxed state and the light's just hitting him down. There's nothing extra there's no real texture to his skin, right?
And audience, the reason Colin knows this is because he is a personal trainer who is available for consultation, the first one of which is free. So feel free to contact him if you want to improve both your strength and body image.
That's right. 1 hour consultation. First one's free.
That's right. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, this is just kind of like, this is one of those crazy, I don't know, like I feel like this is the sort of thing that's the sort of comic that is referenced in comics doing histories of comics. Like you'll see this sort of thing in like Alan Moore's Supreme, when it's back in the 70s, I was tripping out through the cosmic groove, and you get this sort of thing. And it leads us directly into pulls Hulk where? Oh shit! It's Alpha Flight, Canada's premier superhero team.
Yeah, so like, what's the behind the scenes story here? Because I loosely know what it is, which is I think John Byrne was done with Alpha Flight. I think he was like 28 issues in.
Which is
I
a
think
lot.
he never really felt right on that book because looking back, I think John Byrne says that he only really created those characters as an each character was an antithesis to an X-Men character, and so when they had their own book, he was saying this doesn't fully work. But
Yeah.
20 years in, he was done, and I don't know the full story, but somehow he arranged a swap. Like, okay, I'll be on Hulk, and then the Hulk creative team, they can have Alpha Flight. And
Which makes sense. It's why not take another crack at it? I know that Alpha Flight was Byrne, while he moved to Canada when he was 8, he does consider himself mostly Canadian, and I know he wanted to take the Alpha Flight book initially because he felt that a Canadian should actually be producing it.
yeah,
Yeah.
Just off the bat on this cover, the way that Mignola's drawn Hulk, you can see that he's already done away with all the striations and stuff, and now it's just down to hatching shadow under each muscle, right?
Yeah.
Each muscle group.
Yeah.
So he's starting to play more with like doing away with the details and kind of moving more towards just white and black or light and dark, right?
Yeah, the bulk, it's like he looks like he's carved out of stone kind of quickly, or there's not a lot of I don't know what the style is, but it's purposefully displaying the material that it's made out of, right? Like, so for instance, like you'll see like a Bernini sculpture. There's a Bernini sculpture, the abduction of Prosperina, is famous for giving the appearance of soft flesh made from marble. But I don't know what this style is called. In the comments, let me know if you can think of it. But I want you to know this is made from stone, and there is this feeling of the Hulk just like, nah, he's built out of a brick shithouse. Like, so just so you know. There's no question about this. He's got weight, he's got strength, he's got power, and he's got density.
Yeah.
And then, bam! Because he puts his fist through box. Once again, Jerry Tellock as the inker, or I don't know, embellisher. But what did you think of it?
This comic was hard to read.
It's a slog, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it is interesting that that Hulk comic and this comic are the exact same creative team, and one was pretty fun, and this was, just not. This felt like a parody of a Chris Claremont comic. I guess this kind of felt like when people on Reddit or on social media are complaining about Chris Claremont, like
yes.
this is what they're describing, which Chris Claremont is way better than this. But this is sort of like, I don't know, there's just such heavy exposition. And like, I mean, this is the Jim Shooter era. So, and this is, I guess, billed as a jumping on point. And so the mission statement, I suppose, is to bring everybody up to speed on 8 different characters and all 8 different characters' personal melodrama.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, it's rough.
Yeah,
you get constant stopping to have someone think about all the bullshit they're going through, and a little bit more action than stopping as the person thinks about their personal melodrama. And it's just, it's a lot.
This is a perfect example, actually. This panel, he is gone, Jean-Paul. My Walter, my love, my soul is lost, and I will never see him again, because it's being written phonetically for an Quebecois accent. Never, never see him again. And then there's a whole. This is the entirety of the thought balloon for Jean Paul. The shock is causing Aurora to slip into her Jean-Marie persona, the meek identity she retreats to whenever pain and grief overwhelm her. I fear something like this might happen when she fell in love with Sasquatch. I feared for us both. Like, what? Why do I need to know that? Why can't I just like learn that unto the situation itself?
Yeah, show don't tell.
Yeah, it's such a bizarre.
And that's one example, and this is an entire issue of that. Like,
Yeah.
there's so many more examples of that exact same thing that we can bring up.
Like with that
And
character, and then just everybody else's.
yeah, and some of them are worse than others. Like the stuff with Shaman is.
Shout out
Just-
to our Calgary boy, Michael Two Young Men, though.
Oh, he was born in Calgary. That character.
Yeah, he's a member of the Tsuut'ina Nation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I wonder how respectful. I'm sure John Byrne consulted.
I can't believe that John Byrne would speak to anybody from the nation to consult on this. But yeah, you're right. This character, like all of his stuff, is dragged out. It is a bizarre kind of. I don't know. It's like everybody's problem in the middle of
the biggest battle of their life, probably. Like
yeah,
they're fighting
which
the
is
Hulk,
weird because as we've talked about a lot, Marvel comics thrive on melodrama, but it seems like the way to do it is like, well, there's melodrama, and then we take a break for a fight, right? It's like, is it Gwen Stacy or Mary Jane that I'm going to go to the dance with? Wait, hold on, I have to go and punch the rhino in the face real quick. Then I'll get back to that problem.
And
like it's
but that's
weird.
a good example because that's simple.
Yeah,
and I think it works when it's simple like that. But in these situations, these guys have such complex, convoluted backstories in the middle of this fight for them to like what is Shaman's thing? Is he doesn't believe in himself?
He doesn't believe in himself. Yes. My power is founded on my faith that I am worthy of wielding the magic of my ancestors. My inability to save my daughter, Elizabeth, Two Young Men, -- talisman, because you would say her code name as well, right? Right? From danger during our battle with Dark Guardian, shook my faith in my power, just as my failure to save my wife's years ago caused me to doubt my surgeon's skills. That's so much.
Yeah, and why do we need to know all of that? Like you can sort of hint at this stuff. Like I don't know. It's just this is a rough. Again, like this is like a parody of. This seems like a parody of what people think Chris Claremont is like, and if we look at if people watching this go watch our Paul Smith episode, we can talk about how much better Chris Claremont is at pulling stuff like this off. How you can walk this fine line, and you can be subtle, and like you can reveal that he doesn't believe in himself without telling us his entire backstory, right?
Yeah. It feels like very much, hey, Hulk fans, here's the deal with Alpha Flight. Because those are two spheres. That Venn diagram is two separate circles, right? Hulk fans and Alpha Flight fans. And this is the only place that they are meeting for probably the entirety of either character's run, either book's run.
But I do think Bill Mantlo was a journeyman.
Yeah.
And when he's writing a Hulk comic, he knows exactly what that Hulk comic needs, and he jumps onto Alpha Flight. And I guess I'm just guessing he, as a journeyman, is like, well, I got to do the Chris Claremont thing now that I'm on Alpha Flight, which is not what I was doing on Hulk. Hulk needed something different, but he's just not good at doing the Chris Claremont thing. There's only one person who can pull it off in my mind, which is Chris Claremont.
Yeah. I did want to draw particular attention to this. This is not something we often see from MIGNOLA. This kind of framing of like extreme foreground and low angle.
Do Do you think that actually that did stand out to me as soon as you flip to this page? Do you think that's kind of like not an homage to Byrne, but he's kind of trying to keep that energy that Byrne had going from his run?
That's a good question. That might be it. Yeah. To kind of
Byrne does shit like that throughout his
he
whole
definitely
career.
does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's probably the best explanation for it. Yeah, cuz thinking like, well, now that I'm on this Alpha Flight book, I got to make it look like Alpha Flight, right?
Yeah.
Because this is also, we forget, like nowadays when you get an artist on a book, it's going to be their version of it, but that's not the case back in 1980 whatever, or it's not until the 90s with all the image guys that it kind of becomes like the artist is the draw, the artist is the style.
Yeah. I mean, this is still the line towing Mignola. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
his
he's just
job
trying to
was
get
to
work and hang on to his job. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
his job was to adapt to what was Marvel at the time. Like
he still got the opportunity to do some really gorgeous stuff with the Vision Scarlet Witch story and the Namor stuff. Like obviously he was let loose. It's just that when it comes down to a gig, a monthly gig, even a regular gig, if you want to keep your 9 to 5, this is how it's got to go, kind of thing.
Yeah.
oh, and he talks about how he had difficulty getting up in the morning working on this comic. Like it was so
Ugh.
painful.
What Alpha Flight
Yeah,
specifically?
this like I think he was happy on the Hulk book, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
he's swapped over to this, and he just like doesn't want to work anymore. He doesn't want like it.
It's
Yeah, it
nothing
just
he
was
wants
not
to do.
fun.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
can we go back like 2 or 3 pages? There was one. There's just a great bit of storytelling that Mignola did that I want to. Just that panel where Hulk is launching into the air. Like you can feel the power of the Hulk there. Like these characters are pulled up by the force of the Hulk, and I guess they were kind of hanging on to him as well. But like it does feel like the sheer force of the wind that's being created is like launching him and them into the sky.
Yeah.
And it's just like very well observed of what the physicality of the Hulk would cause to the environment around him, right?
I do like this size relationship too, of between Heather Hudson. That's her name.
Yes, she's so small.
Yeah. Like the Hulk is 9 feet tall there. He's absolutely enormous. But to your point, that does kind of build up the strength that then propels that.
And like at this time, Mignola didn't consider himself a writer, but he's like thinking like a writer throughout all this stuff. Like he's putting a lot of thought into the environment and how things are affected.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That is a good. I was trying to adjust the lighting to kind of like this. That looks pretty yellow, and it's like, no, that is yellow. That is yellow in my eyes. Good God. Yeah. I also find what's strange too about this one is there's not a lot of this sort of thing of inset panels or breaking stuff. It's very all right. 3 lines, grid, like follow the grid. It's all very, I don't know, kind of boringly told.
He's got no room to do anything. He's got 100 characters on every page. They're all monologuing. Yeah, there's no room to be very creative with this stuff.
Yeah, it's just kind of a job that he has to finish. He's got a deadline, and what else are you going to do other than produce? I do get why he would not want to draw downtown Vancouver, though. Like, I'll bet that's
well, and that's something. That's the thing he struggled with, which is as a comic artist, you need to be able to draw everything on a monthly schedule. You need to draw your 20 to 22 pages a month, and who knows what's going to be asked of you on every other page. Like, you have to draw downtown Vancouver, and it's it is the 80s. Like, there's no Google search. Like, figure it out, and figure it out fast, because you have to draw another page tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things that resisted him to wanting to become a penciler initially, is just like there's just a lot of things he just didn't want to draw.
Right.
And like he doesn't want to draw cities. He doesn't want to draw cars. And
Who does? Yeah.
I actually love drawing cities. But,
Yes, I know.
but it's very time consuming.
Which you can see Eric draw cities very well in Assorted Crisis events out now.
Yup.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. This just struck me as like I can see why he wants to move on, right? Why this change is coming, why this is like he doesn't know that change is coming, right? He doesn't know that Cosmic Odyssey is next or very soon. He doesn't know that he's kind of going to find what he's been looking for after a lot of years. Like he started inking in 79 and this
In 79, are you sure? I thought it was like 82.
No, the Defenders 116. He takes a lot of time off though, like because
Oh.
after Defenders 116, he kind of has to redo. He has to do a new portfolio essentially, and learns. He kind of reteaches himself how to draw.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't. It's to his mind. I don't think that. That issue is really the start of his comics career. I think the next one was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was hanging out in that Marvel office, and he solidified a lot of relationships.
Which is part of it. But yeah, he doesn't know that change is coming. It's been a while. I can see why this would break him. Of just like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't.
Yeah,
I
I think
do
he
my stuff. I want to do
only
something more interesting.
Yeah, I think he only lasted about 3 issues.
So I do think that this Alpha Flight run in particular is probably his departure from actually drawing things like wrinkles in clothing, or at least detailed wrinkles in clothing, as well as like just defined anatomy. He moves more towards just mass and light and dark and that sort of thing, communicating his ideas that way rather than drawing
there's
like
not a lot
every
of
strand of
spot
hair.
blacks in this. Yeah.
Because after this, we're moving on to Solomon Kane, right? And you can start to see Solomon Kane, he's dropping a lot. Even though these characters are very cloaked characters or they have lots of hair and that sort of thing, he starts to move towards more just communicating shapes rather than like detail and texture.
Yeah, like for superficial reasons, this figure stands out to me. But Heather's got them gams. But yeah, you're right. Like that's not something like the folds of everything. That's not something you would see going
the
forward.
strands of hair, like in that panel on the right page, the bottom panel, all of Heather's hair there.
Yeah,
like
it's
that's one of the last times you see him draw hair like that.
And there's just not a lot of spot blacks throughout all this. However, like there's 2 artists credited on this, so we don't know where Mignola ends and Jerry Tallock begins.
That's true. That's true.
And look at the text on that second page. It's just too much.
Oh boy, give up, disband Alpha Flight. Never Heather McNeil Hudson. On countless occasions her Alpha Flight fought on behalf of Canada. Oh my God, that's 1/3. One
just
word
goes on and on.
Holy shit!
And then this dude shows up. This is like
an
exposition.
By the word.
This is exposition at its worst. Heather Hudson explains to her government liaison what the H in Department H stands for, to tell the readers, but also to tell him. And then that government liaison, I mean, he knows everybody, but he explains to everybody, "Oh, I'm your government liaison." Like, just terrible exposition. Like we should start talking like that. Which is like, hey guys, you know how we started this show almost a year ago? Just so the audience knows all this information.
Yeah, don't rely on any of the interplay or chemistry between any of us. Don't rely on any of the shorthand that we've created in the past year. Just really remind everyone of the facts of the case. I just had to bust this out. Number 30. So now we gotta at least look through it because.
Yeah, so I mean that issue 29 was a painful introductory issue. So I guess 30 is
It's
more of a regular issue, or I actually didn't read it because 29 was so painful. But
it's not great. Like, I think actually this cover speaks to what you're talking about, Colin. Like, this guy, he's kind of putting in folds just for effect, but they're not affecting the overall shape.
Well, look at Puck, look at North Star. Like he's starting to become Mignola.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's
You know what I mean?
good
The
shape on those,
unmistakable
yeah.
aesthetic of Mignola. You see it here.
yeah, it's definitely starting. Jerry,
This is where I'm starting to become excited about, what we're looking at and that sort of thing. Like
Oh,
this is
the credits. That's interesting.
yeah, Jerry Tallock is now listed as inker in this. But to be honest, I don't know that you really.
It looks the same.
Yeah, it does.
Huh.
I don't think it's that much different, and in fact, I think this is really more of. Oh yeah, here we go. I think this is kind of it's almost like this weird throwback to older style Marvel comics. Like, here's their new hideout with all of the different rooms, and here's the map
It's a lot
for
of fun when
everybody
they
to
do
look at. And
It's always fun when they do that.
it's fun, but is
That's
that
not in Vignola's wheelhouse.
no? It's
well,
yeah.
he is starting to come into his own, and you see how he drops detail from the eyes for his faces.
That's
Oh,
because he doesn't have any room. Because he has to
No.
draw
I
are
think
you
no.
talking
He's
like
starting
that
to
sort
go
of
into
thing?
that squinty-eyed kind of Joe Kubert look.
Yeah,
Like he's starting to do that more rather than the eyes deep set in the sockets.
dropping the blank
Drawing
eyes.
the eyelashes, the iris, the pupil. Like he's now doing away with that. Now it's just like kind of like just a black slit.
Yeah.
Man, look at how many characters he has to draw on every page.
All the fucking time, yeah.
You go back a couple of pages, and he has to draw an army.
Yeah.
But that's one of the last times he drew an army. And then he's like, fuck this. I'm never going to write myself into drawing an army.
That's right. Yeah. Even though, like, well, the Bureau has, the BPRD has, like, plenty of employees, like, and you're not going to see a goddamn one of them. It's
Well, not just
Hellboy,
that, but even when
Abe, and maybe Liz shows up.
even when the cavalry arrives, it's usually like 5 or 6 characters max per page or per panel, right?
And Mignola talks about writing for himself and writing for like Duncan Fegredo, and he says for Duncan Fegredo he can write, Hellboy falls in love with a woman and Hellboy's driving in a car, which he would never write for himself,
Right.
because Duncan Fegredo can do it all and is willing to do it all. So there's 2 different writer modes for Mignola, when he writes for himself and when he writes for others.
Hellboy jumping or Hellboy standing there, I'm your guy. Yep. But if Hellboy needs to get from A to B, Duncan, I'm calling you.
Hellboy punches a cybernetic monkey. Bam! Caption. But yeah, I don't know that this is... You're right, Colin. Now that you've pointed it out, like, I didn't really clock any of that when I was reading this. There is, like, some detail being dropped, but I don't know. It's still not. This feels very Mignola to me.
Even the left page, the top tier of panels with Heather. Again,
yeah,
he's focusing. It's all eyelashes. There's no eye.
Yeah,
right?
Good call. All right. See, this is what's great about this show, right? It's like
different perspectives.
Well, yeah, like we catch what each other doesn't, right? Like I wouldn't have thought of that. I just thought, like, fuck, I got to get through this goddamn issue.
Well, I said it last episode, but like now, like this is how I've really started to appreciate how we're doing every artist that we're covering chronologically. Right. So you can start to see when they do away with something and develop something else, or start to lean more into one thing that they had from the beginning. Like now I'm starting to see it with a lot of these different artists that I love, like with Mignola too. It's unrecognizable. If you read that Rocket Raccoon, no credits, you wouldn't know it was him, right?
Fair. Yep.
So, but now we know, right?
Yeah. Big spot black, just kind of, it's mostly taking the shape here. Yeah.
I don't know how much this is what he wants to do and how much of it is time saving, because
Yeah.
these pages look like they took a lot of work. There's just so many figures, so much
But the
cloth.
reason
It's a
you
hard
do
paycheck to
something
earn.
and the result of it can be completely unconnected, right? Like, I don't really, I don't got the time to put all this detail in. Just huge spot black on a character. Hey, you know what? I like
Does
how that
this
looked.
does that last page look like Bill Mantlo was throwing him a bone?
With all the monsters, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that is the thing that kind of comes into it as it goes, is there's more, yeah, like Heather gets turned into this grotesquerie. There's all of this.
You know
Um,
what? Like earlier with the previous comics we were talking about, I was talking about how Bill Mantlo is really writing for the artist, and that's what this feels like.
mhm.
This feels like he's writing something for Mignola, but it wasn't enough
No.
because Mignola. I don't know if he quit. I think he does quit. That's what it sounds like. I don't
Yeah.
think he officially said so, but it sounded like it was
Oh,
so painful that he quit with one issue later.
yeah. Well, and he would go on to other stuff. He'd start bouncing. Yeah, like First Comics, DC would come a calling. Yeah, he's got more to go as time goes by. I will say, I do think this kind of feels like Liz in Hellboy falling through something, right? Like that is he's starting to maybe get more in line with some posing that he'll carry forward.
Yeah.
But oof, yeah, like monster, monster, monster. Great, that's fine, but I don't know. It's I think what we're gonna see going forward in the next book is a lot closer to his style.
I
Yeah,
just noticed
definitely.
there's a lot of Heather Hudson looking sad in his run.
Yeah, there sure is.
She's got her eyes closed, crying a lot.
Yeah, this comic was a lot of fun.
I kind
He
of
so
liked
he
it. Yeah.
he only did one issue of this. Oh, and the cover, I should say, I looked up. If you go to Comic Art Fans, you can see somebody owns this page. Because I was looking at it and it looked like is this the earliest watercolor cover? Like the earliest cover that he colored himself? Because it sure
Hmm.
seems like it. And it's got that like bad 80s reproduction of like a watercolor image. But if you go to Comic Art Fans, you can see. Um,
Do you have that up?
actually, yeah, let me pull that up. And unfortunately, it's a very it's a very small image. Like you can't even click on it to make it bigger.
So,
Um, but the owner says it's 16 by 24, so it's pretty
Whoa!
big.
oh wow.
But yeah, very cool to see it without the logo. To see
It is. Yeah. Yeah. To see,
him
because
playing with the shape.
yeah,
Yeah,
because you can see like this, or yeah, you can see the kind of strand coming off the top of all of that, um, all that smoke up at the top on this one. But as we'll see later, the cover it's just kind of covered up.
yeah, and I like what he's doing with the foot, where the foot is kind of like the foot on the guy on the left is kind of melding with the ground.
Yeah.
And I think I was having difficulty describing why I have no problem with like hiding feet before, and I think it does lend to the atmosphere and does like if the characters don't feel so grounded, it can give off a more mythic feel, I think. And I don't know if I'm grasping at straws, but I because I'm trying to articulate why not necessarily always showing the feet like grounded and connecting to the ground can be a good look.
Mm. Okay. Yeah.
But this sort of like goes towards that, where he is still drawing the feet, but not portraying that line.
Right.
That's kind of reminiscent though of Coipel's style, right?
Right.
Where he'll hatch the character into the environment.
And that's a
Yeah.
Right?
good call, because I said earlier that Mignola is probably one of the best comic artists when it comes to like atmosphere and building mood, and I think Olivier Coipel is like up there with him.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. He is. All right. Let's take a look at the There we go. We can see just how much of it is like kind of just covered, but you still do get that lack of foot connection or that lack of foot definition.
Oh, it's interesting that it's cropped because we could see that other guy's foot
Yeah.
in the in the
Yeah,
original art. So
I
interesting.
love the overall like the cover design for and trade dress for Marvel Comics in the 80s, where it's just a stark black Marvel in the top box,
Oh
in the
yeah,
top
Yeah,
yeah.
very
box.
simple and
And
effective.
very simple. And Solomon Kane, that logo itself, again, very simple, but it lends itself really well to these watercolor painted covers too, especially
Yeah.
like this cover. I want to buy this just for the cover, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, Eric, you've seen I've got hundreds of comics where I've never read them because I just bought it for the cover.
I've done the
Yeah,
same thing. Yeah.
comic clerks love Colin.
I do think here though, Colin, you're right. This is like shape. This is
This is
mass.
Mignola.
Yeah.
This is Mignola waking up. The eyes are slit open just slightly, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. It's not the intricacies of a turban. It is the shape and feel of the turban with the correct details put in, but it's not necessarily a highly detailed rendering of folds
Mm.
and wraps.
And we got the trademark Al Williamson parallel lines, the wobbly line work, which
Yeah.
I love so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the sort of thing you wouldn't think to do. I would never have thought to do like, yeah, just make it real wobbly, but
It gives a real organic feel to it. Whereas
it
like when
does.
it's too straight, it can look a little too mechanical.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot more dynamic and yes,
Mm.
like that's a Magnola face, right? Shadow under the nose, the lips, kind of a smear for the eye. Like it's not that he's not that concerned about the realism of the details. He's concerned about the feeling of them.
Well, and this is important because all the previous comics were superhero comics, and so this is he's not feeling the constraints of having to be a mainstream superhero artist.
That's true.
Which I think around this time he was like looking for gigs outside of that, just
Oh yeah.
outside of the superhero genre.
I was just gonna say, even with like the clothing and whatnot, like he's doing away, like he's not drawing the lace, he's just drawing kind of like the outline
Right.
of what they're wearing
Yeah.
and that
Yeah.
sort of thing, and with the drapery, with the rope texture, even like he's defining it more by shapes.
Yeah,
Right.
the shape is more important than the extra details, which
Yeah.
you get a sense with a lot of artists that the interior detail is more important than the shape sometimes, I think.
It's definitely something I've been trying to think more about is don't put too much don't put so much focus on minutia.
Now this is like a perfect Mignola character, right? Like he's
Oh yeah, like
is he ever not in shadow, Solomon Kane?
there's a few in this, like there is that's kind of not in shadow, but no,
Kind of.
but no, there's that's kind of the whole point, right? Is he's converted to this the the character of Solomon Kane has purposely converted to um, Puritanism, a strain of Protestantism that was so annoying that the people of England were like, you can just fuck right off of here, right? There's a whole other continent across the sea that you could be in that isn't here. Um,
And that explains a lot of America right
Yeah.
there. They were
yeah,
founded by the Puritans.
yeah. Yes, it is, and we see the results of that to this day.
Yeah, you can go to Europe and see boobs in advertisements, and it's not shocking and it's not a big deal. But
It's
here,
really
oh
not.
my God, people lose their minds.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big part of their foundation, and I think that's kind of why it's actually weirdly suited for Mignola is like Puritanism is a very dour, expressionless sort of thing, and the character design it's these heavy blacks. It's kind of like it's not bright and powerful and active. It's more like he's this henge, and you get that here, here, here. Even when he's moving through space, it's just this black shape.
Yeah, so yeah, he is definitely a perfect Mignola character.
Also, the use of planes here.
Right, yeah. So good at creating depth.
Yeah.
And this is the second episode where we see Mignola drawing a ship full of people fighting. Are they fighting? Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. It's a pirate versus
They're
passenger ship.
they're being boarded.
Yeah.
We should almost compare the difference, but yeah, there is a huge difference. There's more atmosphere to this. There's a lot more smoke.
Yeah. There's a lot more activity, right? I think there's a greater thought to the geography of a ship that is being boarded, because the Namor one that we're referencing, see our previous Mignola Interiors episode, it doesn't really it's not really that concerned with the geography of the deck of a pirate ship or the ship being boarded, but this does, right? Like Solomon Kane is up high, and he uses that high ground to kick guys in the face or slice them open, and then he moves from one level to the other. These guys moving through space, swinging over. Last time they just kind of appeared.
And to be fair, this is over 2 pages, where that last one he only had 1 page to work with.
Mm-hmm.
So,
right, because this is like a full ass story, whereas the other one was a short story.
Yeah, but yeah, I love the use of fire framing him in that one panel, 1 page prior to this.
And, this.
Yeah, I mean that's right out of the first Hellboy cover, right? Or is it the second Hellboy cover where he's framed by the fire?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Like he's kind of like mid jump down, and there's this flame all around him.
Yeah.
Just there's more. Yeah, I don't know, volume, I guess.
Yeah, and again, like this setting that he's drawing, like he can fill the page with
it's perfect for
with
it.
props and stuff. And always so much thought put into the foreground, midground, background.
Yeah, like all the guys here, all of this stuff, and we see, like with the Namor story, where I've set this up here, so now I can drop it out here. Now I can focus on these characters and what is going on here.
And it makes for a good-looking page.
Yeah, and it's a good story character building thing, right? For those of you deemed unfit for the slave labor market, will now be executed. Bring the unworthy ones forward, and it's just like this focus on, okay, so who's here? What's going on? Who's in danger?
A lot of cool different inking techniques that Al Williamson brings, like the first panel, the previous page, and the first panel of this page. Just, I mean, Al Williamson was a great artist in his own right.
Yeah.
But I guess he liked to work as an inker, and he brought all those artistic skills to his collaborations.
Yeah. I do like the kind of chunkiness of the arms here, and just the strain. And he's, as we observed in the Hulk issue, he's starting to put more just heavy blacks down for defining the body.
Yeah. Although the thing is, it's not the same when Mignola's not inking himself.
No.
Because like I don't think Mignola would add all this extra detail that's just all over the place. It feels like Mignola's adding exactly that stuff. Just like the extra lines to define the form. It feels like Mignola is less concerned with stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I'm speaking of more modern Mignola, or at least like 90s Mignola, and this is still him in that in-between phase.
Right, yeah, because that's the thing, right? It's though this may be the beginning of a shift for him, he's still in a mode of his touchstones are still Frazetta, Wrights, and these guys. It's just there is a shift, and I still don't think he's quite hit the point where it's fully unlocked for him, but I do think he is being prepped, or he has prepped for that unlocking. Like without this, you don't get Cosmic Odyssey.
Yeah, and he describes that for a while he just wanted to be so many different artists,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah,
in interviews he'll list them. Like he had his Burning Wrightson phase, like, and then he wanted to be Arthur Rackham, and then he
Oh
just a
yeah,
whole bunch
Arthur
of
Rackham. I can see that now in his Namor stuff for sure.
Well, you can actually see some Arthur Rackham in this, which I don't want to get ahead too far, but I'll point it out when we reach it. But
Okay.
the thing is that he took the Bernie Wrightson and the Arthur Rackham and he loved the studio guys like Barry Windsor Smith and all those guys, and he took all that, and that's just what artists do. They coalesce all their inspirations and then become their own thing.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is in that phase where he's just trying to be all these other artists. He hasn't fully found himself yet.
Yeah. He's starting to figure stuff out, but as much as you gather stuff, you also have to figure out what you can leave behind. I did want to draw particular attention to this one though. This is a great, panel.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, just him framed, her framed. It's so well done. And sets up the twist at the end. Like you didn't. I was thinking, oh, okay, so she's going to become a danger. No, that's not what happens. It's set up, but that's not what happens.
Yeah, so much emotion in that panel.
Yeah,
and then the next panel, just like again, just such great atmosphere to that. Such good framing with the.
Yeah,
the
you
sun.
can see that as an antecedent to his eventual work on like busted ass old churches in Hellboy.
Yeah,
big chunks of stone holding everything up.
And again, that's like that rendering is Al Williamson. Like that is not Mignola at all.
Yeah, I know his wife has talked about just kind of using the side of his pencil a lot, like just.
That's how he figures out the lighting. Like because he is very the lighting looks like chunks of. I don't know how to describe it, but you don't just figure that out by drawing it.
No.
You figure it out by like taking the side of the pencil and then just going like, okay, this section would be. You just slide this section would be taken and that section, and then afterwards you kind of like figure out the line work that you created.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if like, all right, you know what? I'm just gonna, Al Williamson obviously renders it, but if his design comes out of, or this, right? Just like, what if I just did a bunch of thick ass lines, playing around with the technique, I guess.
And again, like some more rendering, some fun rendering on that last panel that Al Williamson is bringing. Like none of this, like none of this is Mignola rendering.
No,
this is it seems like Al Williamson has a very heavy hand on the.
At times, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it looks great.
It does.
They're a good team.
Yeah.
One of my favorite Mignola things is one of their collaborations with Fafford and the Grey Mouser.
Ah, yes. Mm-hmm. Great stuff. Is there a hardcover of that?
No, but they just reprinted it like a couple of years ago, I believe, in a soft cover.
Yeah, I got that one. The binding.
Oh yeah.
The binding you've infected me with. The both of yous.
Good, good binding. We want it to lay flat. We don't want any of that gutter loss. It's
nope.
And that's the thing is,
and that's a thick book.
You can you can appreciate bad binding in a comic until someone infects your mind,
Yep.
and suddenly you're like,
You
oh,
can't unsee it.
I never
So
thought about the
sorry.
importance of a comic laying flat.
So sorry, viewers, for if we've infected the uninfected already. Sorry.
I mean, as an artist, it like kills me, like
Yeah,
to have a double page spread where like
especially your
part of
work.
the art has been eaten up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
like
much of it
Yeah,
is.
I can,
issue 5 of his sort of crisis events is a lot of those pages need to lay flat, and a lot gets eaten up by the gutter, which kills me.
Yeah,
Which is why I guess we need that hardcover.
that's exactly why. Yes, less
sewn
back matter.
binding and
All right. Back to this though. Great framing. Again, not something you would typically see from him now.
But here you
But
have that tilted angle you were talking about
yeah,
before.
yeah, yeah. It's tilted. It's low down. It is a lot more dramatic, which is not unexpected for him. But I don't know. This feels current Mignola though, right?
Oh yeah.
Just
Yeah.
in its basic construction, not its execution, but you could definitely see, I don't know, Abe Sapien holding Hellboy as he like grumbles about getting stabbed in the chest again as a shaft of light covers them, right?
Yeah, definitely. And that first panel on the top left, that's like
That
like
one.
prime Mignola, where like the blacks, he's just created a shape out of black. It's like not meant to be anything, but it's just like an amorphous shape for the purpose of the composition.
Yeah, it's the mood of what the fuck is going on here. I do like this too. It's this is, I think, closer to what
Yeah.
you would see the little inset panels in a Hellboy book of like it's telling you what's happened, but it's also giving you the like an emotional response more than an action.
Yeah. Yeah, and following the comics code.
Yeah, there's that too. Yeah.
Man, I love the amorphous shape of Solomon Kane's cape
Right
there at the
there.
bottom. Like it doesn't
yeah.
it's not about making sense.
Nope.
It's about creating a cool image, and like I mean, I love how that cape flows, and that is like talking about like detail. Like again, it's just the shape of a cape and another shape of the black, but no detail thrown in, which is
Right,
pure
yeah.
Mignola, right?
Yeah, no lines inside the cape to give it like this fold is this section is folded over this, or this
Yeah.
is curving over anything. It's just
Yeah, you don't need that stuff if it looks this
no.
good.
Yeah. And I think we're seeing too, especially in these two character designs, the chonkiness of his character design and shape, right? Like the gloves, the sleeves, they don't he could and will drop even more detail out of that sort of thing, right? All of this stuff in here, a lot of the folds, like you don't really need it, and I think he discovers that over the next 30 years of his career.
Yeah. But man, that first panel, just like
This one?
or the previous page, just like again, I guess I'm getting repetitive, but just like so atmospheric, clouds
Yeah.
on top of clouds, just
Oh
like
yeah,
layers
yeah.
of information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so good. Like a lot of these, oftentimes you get a panel that could just be a cover, right?
You
'Cause
do,
that's just how
yeah.
he thinks.
Which
I think
yeah.
I think he was. I think he tells a story about how editors would criticize him that he was trying to make every panel a Frazetta painting.
I
And
don't know what if that's a criticism, but okay.
well, I think it was I think it was a commentary on like storytelling and storytelling flow. But
Mm,
you know, he is thinking about the page as a whole, and he's thinking about the page design as a whole, and like that's where his priorities are with a lot of storytelling. Where
yeah.
not everybody is prioritizing that with storytelling. People are just I guess when you're doing the 6 panel grid, for example, which was in vogue in throughout most of Marvel Comics history, right? At least the 60s, 70s, 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not really thinking about the page design. You're just thinking about the storytelling from panel to panel.
Yeah. Right.
And
Yeah.
he's not that guy.
No. He's thinking in terms of directing your eye around and framing stuff and drawing your eye to specific things.
Yeah.
Case in point, we've got this guy, and then for him to be crossing over, right? Like that's
Yeah.
a specific choice he's made. It's not like, oh, I ran out of space and or time. It's like, no, I want it to feel like I want it to feel the danger that he's in.
And they say don't break panel borders, but that's a specific example of where it works.
Yeah.
Because it is leading your eye into the next panel, into the panel that you need to go to. Like it doesn't work if you're breaking into a panel that is like not the panel that you're supposed to go to next.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. There's rules. You got to know them so that you know how to break them and how to bend them.
Yeah.
Another great framing of just like, here's the amorphous black shape around him.
Which is like the purpose isn't to create like something that you know, something that is real, something that is part of the background. The purpose is the composition and what the composition is doing, like highlighting this figure essentially.
Yeah,
it's so good.
Also, more of that kind of block shadow.
Yeah.
Of just to carve out the face out of shadow. Same here. It's a little more rendered here, and I suspect that's more Williamson.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but it's
great skeleton with the snake.
Oh yeah. Clutching the scroll, the holy scroll that will pronounce the next prophet. I'm sure this is a culturally sensitive depiction of 16th century, no, 17th century Islam.
Yeah, I mean, I'm no expert, so I don't know.
No. This is actually set in a weird period because this is like it's taking place in the 1600s, so it's simultaneously the Baroque sculpture era, the tail end of Victorian or of Elizabethan England, the founding of very poorly functioning colonies in North America, and samurai stories that we all know and love.
Oh yeah.
They're all taking place at around this time. So it's weird to see the different and to think about what's happening right now. Because he's a Puritan. Puritans exist and they go to England or they go to North America because they're essentially chased out and they're building like Roanoke Colony or whatever, Plymouth Rock, that sort of thing. And but at the same time, there's a shogun in Japan running.
So I guess like every Kurosawa movie takes place around this time.
Around this time, yeah. I'm sure there are specifics through, because it's a long century. But yeah, if you've seen, but the classic style of samurai movie that we all think of, that's 1600s.
Well, Taylor, I want a comic from you from this era that features all these disparate characters worldwide teaming up or fighting or whatever, just like somehow all these different archetypes from different continents coming together. That's
not a bad idea.
Right. I mean, it's a cool visual.
That's the next short after the current Luke Zenith and Scorpio Gold one.
I want an epic.
An epic? Oh no!
Well, actually, it starts off with a short. Do a short.
Yeah.
And then expand from there.
Yeah, I'm taking the MIGNOLA approach. He started Hellboy off with shorts and just like 2-panel stuff, but let it grow.
Well, you guys heard it all here first, so expect that story sometime in the future.
Oh God! Now I gotta really deliver.
Yeah, I love the shape of Solomon Kane in that second panel. I like in the earlier stuff we were looking at in this sort of first phase of Mignola's career. You didn't see a lot of his style.
Yeah,
but you're definitely seeing it come into formation here.
Yeah, like poses, just like casually kicking this, or yeah, just popping that hip and reaching out. It's very specific that he's grabbing on. I don't know, discovering, I guess. Yeah, and then just this black on black action.
Yeah, definitely. And on the next page, I see what I think is some Arthur Rackham
All right.
with the folds in the drapery.
Now I'm not quite clear on who Arthur Rackham is. Who explain this
So
to me?
he was like an English book illustrator.
Okay.
I guess, according to Wikipedia, he's a leading figure during the golden age of British book illustration. And yeah, he's known for his pen and ink drawings.
So it's those like
Okay.
Taylor. They're those spot illustrations in novels and stuff, right? Like the
Right.
stuff.
Yeah, and I think he was kind of enamored with how Arthur
Okay.
Rackham drew trees, and I think Mignola reached a point where he's like, "Well, I'll draw trees like Arthur Rackham," and then
Which he
I'll
definitely doesn't anymore.
yeah, yeah. I'm not sure. Like, I do see a bit of this rendering in. It does seem like there was some of this stuff in the Scarlet Witch Vision story, but
Yeah. Weirdly, I think it translates more to the Hulk that when the Hulk was like tearing at and like kind of stretching a
yeah,
tentacle. It's more
It
like
was a
that.
scorpion tail, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So you think like a lot of this sort of thing is
yeah. There's just I don't know how to describe it. It's like delicate but also detailed.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
and that whole thing again, like, looks like it came out of like an old painter from a fantasy illustration from the
It does.
70s or
Yeah.
80s, right?
Yeah, it looks like this is like Deja Thoris in repose or something.
Yeah, like a lot of thought put into the pose to create an artistic statement rather than to realistically draw like how a dead body would look like
Right. Yeah.
from someone who had poisoned themselves or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and then I think this is kind of you're right, like he's always in shadow. It's just like heavy black.
Yeah, which makes him like the perfect Mignola archetypical character, I guess.
Yeah.
Even though like he only drew one issue of this, right? Although
Yeah.
I will say that he's done 2 or 3 modern illustrations of Solomon Kane since this came out. So yeah, I'll pop those up on the screen, which is just like very modern Mignola
Right. So
illustrating Solomon
it's a lot
Kane.
more stripped down.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
very stylized.
Right. Yeah, because this is kind of a weird period for him where it is still more representative. There's elements that will, because we've seen a lot of that, right? Elements that will continue and to be iterated on, but proportions are a lot more representative of like a real human being.
Yeah, he's trying to be a mainstream guy still,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
trying to get work, right?
gotta get that work. Yeah. Because eventually, but the thing is that the mainstream work will eventually lead him to a point where he doesn't want to do this anymore. And his wife, Christine, will tell him, like, just, I got a job. I got a good paying job. Why don't you just do what you're going to do? Like, do your thing.
And I think
Yeah.
that signifies the third phase of his career, which is the I guess how would you put it, the I wouldn't say entrepreneurial side, but more controlling his own destiny,
Right. Yeah.
doing what he wants rather than accepting the gigs that come his way.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's interesting to think like that comes 15 years into his career, but someone like, say, fellow YouTuber and comic book artist Daniel Warren Johnson makes that choice like right away. No, I'm not. I'm only drawing my stuff.
Yeah, it's usually one really bad gig that
Yeah,
makes you realize that.
yeah,
But I'm just thinking out loud right now. I would say that the fourth phase would be this, because he does speak about how he hadn't really considered until much more recently what he wants to do day to day. He didn't have full freedom when he first started Hellboy, because it wasn't, you still had to make a living. He has reached a point where Hellboy is bringing in enough money that he has, almost unlimited freedom, right?
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have to think about money like he had to think about money when he was in that third phase starting Hellboy. But now he's in a phase where he can just do anything he wants. He can paint all day. He can,
which he was doing for a while.
Yeah.
Right?
And
during the pandemic, he was just putting out pencil sketches and watercolors.
Yeah, those were really cool.
Yeah, they were.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they're all collected in a quarantine sketches or some, I can't remember what it's called, but
yeah.
But yeah, this modern Hellboy stuff, the new phase is pretty exciting.
Bowling with Corpses.
It feels like we'll get a new hardcover of short stories from him every year for the next several years, because there's a new one coming out.
Yep. I fucking hope so.
Yeah. January 2026, I think, is when the next one comes out. It's very cool. He just throws them out. Yeah, it's great.
So so that I guess concludes the first phase.
It does. Well, yeah.
Well, actually, no. You know what? Do we want to cover Corum?
I mean, we can
first comics.
We can see if we can find them, but there's 12 of them, and I think I only.
He only drew 6 issues, I think.
Did he?
But yeah, again, we can only cover the comics that we own. I own the first issue. Taylor, I think you own the first issue, and that's we haven't been able to find 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But we will hunt those out, and depending on, we'll continue this Mignola series. Maybe the next will be Cosmic Odyssey, or maybe we'll cover his first comic series when he worked for First Comics. I should say that with Solomon Kane and a couple others, he did Amazing High Adventure. He did a Spider-Man story, and then he sort of ran away from Marvel Comics to go over to First Comics to do Chronicles of Corum. And then he does a little bit of DC work where he
Oh yes.
Which is collected in a Mignola DC hardcover.
Which I have to go over it. Which doesn't cover World. No, it does have World of Krypton, but it doesn't have Cosmic Odyssey, which is a thing unto itself. And then,
what about does he get to? I guess it's still phase 2. It's Gotham Back Gaslight's probably phase 2, right? The latest, later part of phase 2.
That's the Prestige era where he does Prestige books.
Yeah, because that comes out actually.
Jungle Adventure.
That's right. Yeah, because he's doing Doctor Strange, Doctor Doom, Triumph and Torment, Gotham by Gaslight, Legends of the Dark Knight, Sanctum.
We get to Jungle Adventure. We get to Jungle Adventure, bro.
Wolverine, the Jungle Adventure, with writer Art Walt Simonson and inker Bob Wyacek.
Cool. Very cool. So I guess what have you guys been up to this week?
Oh
well. Colin, you want to go first?
Sure. I mean,
I've seen you working on it.
I was working on a Constantine one, and I haven't abandoned it yet, but it was not coming together in time for this episode. So this morning,
does he do Constantine?
Sorry,
does he do Constantine?
No, but I was doing one for this episode because it's got Constantine covered by the shadow of Batman's silhouette.
Okay. Cool.
Right. So, but I didn't abandon it. It'll be in a future episode. But for this one, I ended up doing Solomon Kane.
Nice.
Just a quick one. This one took me probably a half hour to an hour.
There we go. Nice.
Employing
those heavy blacks.
To do. Yeah. So, and you could see that they weren't just drawn in eyes. I actually ended up shadowing the eyes under the hat.
Oh wait, no, I do want.
They're not in the sockets.
So what have I been working on? I have been penciling the. I've written and now begun the penciling phase of another Luke Zenith and Scorpio Gold story.
Yeah, very cool.
Wrote myself a story that is set inside of a O'Neill cylinder, which you can see at the end of Interstellar, and cursing myself for such a stupid idea. God.
It'll look great though.
Yeah, I hope so. that's the goal.
Problem-solving skills you're developing, though, by taking on ambitious. So, like, I'm not down on ambition. Like, I do think as an artist, if you're starting out, you should start small, of course.
Yeah.
But if you have this grandiose idea that you just want to throw down on a page, try.
Yeah.
Fucking
And
do
that's
it, right?
that's kind of where I came to, right? At first I was like, is there any other way I can do this? But the setting was a solution to a problem that couldn't be solved any other way. And then I thought, you know what? Fuck it. A circular, gigantic world. Let's see how that goes. I'm sure there's ways.
Cool.
I'm sure there's reference nowadays. I'm sure I can find something. And I've created this, a lesson in hubris for us all, because I don't know.
A lesson in hubris, really?
Yes. See, here's the thing. My thought was Rocket Raccoon, a character that he's not as associated with, but he's associated with, and Frazetta, a touchstone of his. The problem is, I am not Frank Frazetta, so this has gone terribly bad. I don't care for this at all. But as Colin just said, ambition. It didn't work out. That's fine. I know now.
So wait, what aspect? Where do you think it went wrong? What do you think is the worst part of this? Like, what is? I'm trying to understand what the.
Well, let me ask you this: what is going on here? Can you tell what's going on there?
No.
Exactly. Yeah. It's it's a samurai rabbit that is green that did not really like. It's the sort of thing that, like, in my mind, this is great. That said, I am pretty pleased with the feel of brightness here.
Yeah.
But other than that, but you know what? Sometimes,
well, to be fair, how big is that? It's like 4 by 6 or
8 by 6. Yeah.
Oh, 8 by 6. Okay, yeah. I mean, it's a tiny. You don't have a lot of real estate there, right?
That's true. Yeah, which is also a something that I really need to think more about is the real estate that I have. If I'm going to draw a Rocket Raccoon that large, I should probably put the focus more on him.
Well, and I'm sure you didn't labor over this, right? This how many hours did you sink into this? Like 2 or 3?
Yeah,
like,
2 or 3. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's impressive that you got this done in like 2 hours. Like,
well, I appreciate it. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
I know we have artist editions, but you know what's really started to help me is the Absolute Batman DC work in progress. Couple that with the All-Star Superman #1 work in progress.
Okay.
And like if you look at those in terms of real estate, because those are 11 by 7, they're the actual size that the art was drawn on, right?
Yeah.
The page the art was drawn on. You can see their decision making with light and black, and just texture and form and just size relationships, everything, how they work it all out on the page. It really starts to like rewire your brain. It starts to change the way you think about your own art.
Well, or at least actual size is very helpful.
Yeah. That is something that I should pay more attention to.
And I wonder about that because like I have a bunch of artist editions and I look at those too, and those are actual size, but they didn't click with me the same way that these stapled, folded giant portfolio, 11 by 17 size portfolio pages. Actually, I don't know. Just it's like you're holding it in your hand,
right? Yeah.
Compared to like this giant, like it's like the 2 tablets Moses was holding, right?
Yeah,
you're just kind of
they are unwieldy.
Especially the Paul Smith X-Men, you're in awe. But like when you're actually holding it as like a stack of pages that you're just kind of proofing, it changes the way you think about real estate on the page, for sure.
I'm gonna look into those then. Yeah, because it's
They just came out with American Vampire #1, and I've got that on order too. I'm
cool.
gonna get that.
Yeah, I have a couple of those.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the Frank White, the All Star Superman one I have. It's pretty cool. It's pretty
Nice.
cool to see it actual size.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, every failure is a lesson to learn. So
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
cool that you're being ambitious.
yeah.
But yeah, shall we close it out?
Let's close it
Yeah.
out.
So this is the end of phase 1 of Mike Mignola's illustrious career. And don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Cool.